Well, nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with the truth. They don't want to know the truth at all.
No, but I tell you what.
They don't want to know the truth, and it's just typical of today's dumbed-down society who don't care about the real truth of history.
Well, I tell you what, though, Don. Their life is easier than ours.
Well, give them one thing. They got enough, how you say, debunked testimonial fortitude to stand there and lie to you. Because she knows daggone well that those mandibles are bigger than any Paiute Indian I've ever seen in a skull other than any kind of situation. And the skull itself was a couple of skulls that vanished early on. The world never will see those, hit the pictures I have and other people have similar to them that were taken years ago.
And not far outside of the boundaries of Alexandria stood the great group of pyramids. Very little is actually known about the pyramids, but have remained to this time the wonders of the world.
Which is well doing, and welcome back to Rebooting History. I am Neil, and I recently went to Humboldt Museum in Winnemucca, Nevada, to find the large skulls that were there from the Lovelock Cave area. They had been there for quite a while, since the 1970s, and a man named Don Monroe, he took pictures of these things a long time ago, and some of them have disappeared, and there were some there, but I went on a trip to go up there just to see if I could see what they would say if I asked about them, and this is what happened, and here it goes. I've already ate some food, water, gas, ready to go. Let's go. Red-haired, tall guy. Tall person. Next door, beside him, is another guy. Well, this one might be a girl, but they're embracing kind of the lore of the tall, red-haired people that were supposedly around this area. And here's the museum. Right here, the side of the museum. This building was here. Marzin House. It's been here quite a while. 1851. Yeah, so right now, of course, the museum's closed when I want to come. You can't take pictures in there anyways. But we're just exploring. We're going to look. We're going to go out to Lovelock Cave, and we're going to find the little red-haired giants. The little red-haired giants. Like this little guy. It's a little BB. A little red-haired giant BB. Okay, let's get on the road. There's the car. Let's go. Let's do this. And here we have the Lovelock Cave Nature Trail. Who's this character? This person is, guess, Sarah Winnemucca. Named a whole town after her. She was amazing. Amazing author. Amazing author she was. And look at this dress. What's that? Ooh, that's a chunk of red-haired giant scalp. the chunk of red-haired giant scalp. So guess what? Sarah Winnemucca said that there were red-haired tall people, and they had actually made a dress out of one of those, and she was the owner of that dress. So now we got this little brochure. We stole this from the museum because they weren't there at the time. No one's around, I steal things. So, but yeah, it was out front. A brochure, I took it. I think they're free. So anyways, yeah. Here it is. Say goodbye to their lovely couple here, Charles and Diane. There's Diane and Charles and the little BB. That's probably Prince Henry, Prince Harold, Prince Philip, whatever. So yeah, let's go. We're gonna get on the road and we're gonna try to find this Lovelock Cave. Let's do this. Cutting rug down a place called the Jug with a girl named Linda Lou. When in walked a man with a gun in his hand and he was looking for you know who. Lovelock Cave byway. Looks like I got it. There's a herring. Now we're just looking for the boy. So it's supposed to be a boy and a herring, I heard. But all I saw was the herring, and we're heading out now. Down towards these mountains. Look at this. Can you believe this? This whole lake basin here is thousands years old. Like at least 10,000 years old with there's water here. Back in the times of Atlantis, concurrently there was a big lake here as Atlantis existed in my book. Around the world in this part we had a big old lake over here. I'm not sure if the giants, red-haired giants, were living here at that time 10,000 years ago, but there's definitely people around the way over there in what they call Spirit Cave, Grimes Point, Nevada, which is in Fallon. There's 10,000-year-old mummies there. The oldest mummies in all of North America come from there. So those people were concurrent with the times of Atlantis. What's this say? Lovelock Cave byway, hit the highway. It's a better way, better way. Oh, there's the herring. Look, you see him? Oh, there's two of them. There's the herring. Whoa, can you see where he went? Oh, he flew back. Oh, no, they took off. There was a whole bunch. You see him way down there? Looks like a whole bunch of herrings. I didn't know they flew in a squadron like that. Like geese. They fly like geese. Here, I'll get you the sun view. here. I'm gonna leave it running because for good luck. And we're gonna walk over there. See if I don't know if you can see this. Watch out for snakes because I'm by myself. Don't have a lot of water. It's always a good thing. So, this out in the middle of this, how times have changed. Could you imagine there were like 10,000-year-old peoples like living in this area? Probably had Lexuses too or something like that. I don't know about Lexuses. They might have had like, I don't know, canoes. They had a canoe probably. Let's keep walking. Okay, here we go. As I was telling you about I guess that road came around. I didn't want to take it all that way. The road looks like it may swing around. You drive from there. Where am I at? Drive. And then it comes here. If I would just stuck on the road, I could have drove the whole way. Looks like it. But it's fun to walk. Oh my goodness, look at this. Wow, that's pretty cool. Let's watch out for snakes. Look at that, wow. There's like a hole. Huh. How'd the rock do that? Excuse me. This is why I was looking at this. This is what caught my eye here. Excuse me. Dang. Excuse me. Jeez. Guess I need some water. But look at that. This thing. I'm gonna look around and see if I see anything. I wanted to show you guys some more of this. Look at this. Big ol', it's like there's a lot of rock formations out here. That one, look at this guy on the heel. You know? And that one. They're huge. Big old boulders. And they're all facing, right now the sun's going down. It's to the west. But probably what made it significant is these huge rocks. He's out there somewhere. I saw him, you can see him right there. He's in there. Trying to see if I'm moving, see him? He's cruising to the side. I could zoom in more. You can see he's coming this way. He stopped. If I honk my horn, think he could do something? I'll scare him, huh? No, I don't want to honk. I hate people who honk. Okay. I see him. See him right there walking? I found some more of these. They're deer. Deer living out here with no fear. Let's go. So I wanted to show you all those other rock formations I've been showing you. Right there, that's the Lovelock Cave right there. That's the Lovelock Cave. So I was showing you all those other rock formations because if that's the Lovelock Cave, looks like that. What about all those other rock formations? There might be something in those other ones too, you know, that we haven't found yet. It's because of the bats. It was bat guano that they wanted to explore these caves because they were using the guano for their purposes, industrial purposes and whatnot. So they were like miners getting the bat guano out of this cave up here. Then they ended up discovering all these big bones. I believe there's probably more than one cave around this area. There couldn't have been only one. There's probably one's waiting to be discovered. This is very similar to the other formation I was showing you guys earlier. It's like a spine.
You have arrived.
Yes, thank you. I know. Thank you for reminding me. I have arrived in life. I have arrived. There's the trail going up right there. This trail is actually pretty steep. It kind of tires you out. And you find a parking spot. Good job there, park official. You'll get my high rating. I'll put you on Yelp. Put you on Yelp. I'll lock this car so no red-haired giants try to steal my stereo. Probably should bring some water, huh? Yeah. Let me go. Oh no, look. It's like the Burning Man. It's like saying the Alta Playa stuff, the same stuff. It's very dusty. It's very dusty, but I did go up that little side trail, so that's why I got more dust. I expected a car would get dusty. I expected it would get dusty. Let me see if I can find my water jug. Oh boy, oh here we go. Here we go. Here we go, okay. Big moccasins on the side there. They're not telling you what size those moccasins are, but there have been pretty large moccasins that were found here. Pretty cool. And this is like the burial, seems like it. The bundle under the, and they put the stones on top, you know. There's ashes, surface, charred. Like there was a fire, it looks like, you know. Seems like it could have been, you know, sometimes who knows why they're building a fire. Sometimes it's like a ceremonial thing, I guess, but it could have been like what they talk about with the natives here around here were trying to burn them out. Walk in here. You want to climb up this thing and see the valley, the former lake bed. There's the trail. Got me winded already. Look at this. There's the sun. It's very peaceful and quiet. It's very peaceful and quiet. It's pretty steep. It's a steep trail. It's actually a pretty nice trail for how steep it is. I guess there's a lot of traffic that come here. You got pretty good footing. There's the sun. This big old valley. And you think about it, if there was an attack here, and they shot arrows in this cave, I mean, how do they do that? They like shot fire arrows in the cave, right? It must have been pretty impressive for them just to climb up here. Higher up now. There's a bird. Pigeons. Oh, scared me. Look at that there. Who? Nice and cool in that cave. There's birds. You can feel the coolness coming out of them, out of the cavern. Down in there. Should have brought my flashlight. Shoot. Oh. Big mistake. Rookie maneuver. Go inside. This is the cave. This is the cave. You can see there's burnt marks right here. You know? Burnt. Well, you know that people were living in this thing. They got it. I mean, I would want to live here. Because it's so nice and cool. You could build your fires in here. You know? This is crazy. And as you can see, see all that rubble? Like, this is just the entrance of the cave. The cave has been, you know, collapsed. There's a lot more to this. It's just not, they weren't just all living in this front part here. This is, excuse me. They think that, there's lore that this cave goes all the way to Ilme, Nevada, which is miles, like, I don't know, 30 miles. I think I might pass through that. I'm heading to Humboldt. I'm heading to Winnemucca right now. I might pass Ilme, and I'll show you Ilme. That's this supposedly this cave goes to there. You know, this underground passage. Yeah, and they built this platform. You can see this roof. It's interesting. And the sun's coming down through there. It's getting about evening time. So you might be able to see the sun coming there through the entrance right on that spot right there. And we're getting close to the summer solstice. It's June. It's early June right now in this part of the country. And there's a platform down here. We got some stairs. It's getting dark over here. You see this roof. Feels nice in here. Really cool. Literally, like, I don't want to go down the stairs without breaking my neck. Die in the cave. Die in Lovelock Cave and Beak bones for future generations to marvel at. Wow. They built this platform here. It's dark. It's dark. You're not able to see that platform they have. It's like picket fence. There's see over there. Look at this incredible, like what they found in this cave. You know, it's just buried right now. It's buried with the topsoil of this, whatever this, there's so much, probably more, you know? I'm sure it doesn't end. They just quit excavating. So beautiful. You can close your eyes and think, wow, what happened here, you know? If you could only know. Try to get a feeling, you know, I try to get a feeling. Lovelock Cave archaeological site. Do not destroy your American heritage. Okay. Be sure not to do that. Lovelock Cave. Look at that. Dive in there. Dive in there and see what you find. What could be in there? So we're heading back out of here. We're leaving Lovelock Cave. And we're just cruising along. We're gonna go get some gas and we're gonna make a trip all the way to Winnemucca to see the Humboldt Museum and see that big giant head, the skull. Maybe they'll let us see it. I'm gonna ask. The air's nice and fresh. Okay, we're heading to the gas station to get gas. And then we're gonna be driving all the way to Winnemucca. So we have arrived at the Humboldt Museum in Winnemucca. Parking now. I don't expect that they're going to let me look at these skulls. And they may not even be here anymore. My goal is just to find out what they say when I ask about them. So there it is. We are here. In there, and just as I suspected, they're not on display. I don't even think they're even here anymore. I'm pretty sure there's pictures of them here in the museum, but when they're not allowed to show the pictures, and evidently they got repatriated. The skulls have been repatriated back into the earth where they belong. So only thing is that they never tested these things to find out if the DNA actually matched the people that wanted them repatriated. So it could have been somebody else's skulls that they were burying in the ground and not even being tested. So yeah, they got reburied, guys. If anybody wants to know about those skulls, supposedly they got reburied without even having any tests done on them. They just thought they would just rebury them. So mark that down as a loss for, trying to find out what actually happened about our past that's just been buried away. But that's just the way it is. So that's the world that we live in. But it was fun coming here. I made a nice trip. I got a thing on the Basque people. The Basque people are all around this area, and I started bringing it up to the Basque or Basque. He said Basque. The Basque people are actually pretty significant as well in history. Very unique people that could have been remnants of Atlantis, those Basque people. They're so different than any other people in Europe. But it's just interesting that they're out here, way out here in Winnemucca, a big group of Basque influence. And the skulls, though, are gone. She couldn't even show me pictures of them, so even though they had the pictures, then they might as well bury the pictures too, right? Okay, guys, checking out. We're gonna head back home. I wanted to show you this interview done by Pinejacker01 on YouTube with a Devoy monk. She was 91 years old at the time. This is 3 years ago. She has a lot of information about the red-haired giants, as her family runs the museum, or ran the museum, in Lovelock.
Do you know that they say that that cave goes all the way to Emily?
No,
Really?
way.
Well, nobody's ever climbed all the way, but there's another great big cave up by Emily that comes back this way. So that's the legend.
That's the legend. So I asked you just a moment ago, because we had this long talk. You lived here for years. 91 years old, God bless you. I said, do you believe the red-haired giant story of Lovelock Caves? And you're going to
Yes.
give me the answer.
Yes, I do. If you talk to BLM, they'll tell you it's a bunch of hokum. There was no red-headed Indians. If you talk to my Native American friends here in Lovelock, they will tell you their parents told about the Native Americans. They were cannibals. They came up from Death Valley, marked the trails, and dug holes in the trails, and then covered them up so the natives would fall in them, and then they would eat them.
So she says that they were cannibals and they came from Death Valley. This different group of peoples came into this area. Red-headed, giant, larger than normal humans, came to the area, and they were setting traps. And they were eating the locals.
They lived in the cave for a while and buried their people in the cave. They found a lot of mummies that had red hair and were over 7 feet tall. They were very tall.
Wow.
They found the mummies there, but if you go in the cave is all smoky inside. And my Indian friends say that they got tired of them killing their people, so they chased them into the cave, then built a big fire in front of that cave. Now the opening has been made a lot bigger. It was a lot smaller when my folks first came here in 1945. The opening was much smaller, but they've made it.
Oh, even then it was smaller, right?
Well, so they opened it up, and they built a fire and smoked the Indians and killed them and buried them in the cave.
And,
I met, while I was working here at the museum, some people came from southern Utah that had been working on the highway between Nevada and Utah, and said they came into a big burial ground, and there were red-headed Indians in that burial ground, and the Indians, and anyway, they didn't tell anybody. They just put them back in the ground and left them. But they're still there, so there's been another people that have found them. The Indians are buried squatting down. The feet first, then down, and just their heads closest to the top of the ground.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And my folks have a ranch down in Lower Valley, and sometimes they saw the top of they would hear this whistling sound, and it was the wind blowing through the skulls, because the wind had blown away the dirt.
The top.
So they were hearing those sounds. They found, my folks were plowing the field, and they found a big burial ground, and called the BLM to come down and find whatever they needed to do. And they sent a lady. She came down, took what she wanted through the westway, and left.
Yep, never hear it again.
Never heard her again. They found some more burial. They had a ranch out at Upper Dixie Valley, and they found some more Indian stuff there, but not much.
Wow. Now, this is the legend that I heard that, Indians go howl.
So there in that interview, she says that, or this interview, she says that they were 7-foot bodies or mummies they had found in the cave, in Lovelock Cave. She also says that during her time there, probably in the museum, maybe someday, or someone came in from a construction crew and was saying that when they were building the highway between Nevada and Utah, which I imagine was probably Interstate 80, I imagine that probably happened during the 50s, or I'm not sure what road it was, but they ended up digging up, they came across a burial ground, the red-headed natives that were buried, and they were buried a certain way. They were buried with their heads facing the ground, like sitting in a sitting position. Okay, so let's look at this L. Loud archaeology report from, I think it was Cal Berkeley, and look how the skeletons are found in Lovelock Cave. They're sitting in this position, just as she is describing, in a squat position with the head up here, skulls at the top. Okay. Then she also says that her family found independently on their property, came across a burial ground, and the same thing. They were buried. The red-headed giants, I guess you could call them, were buried like this, with their skulls towards the top of the ground, and then the wind would blow through, like taking off the surface of the ground slowly and revealing the skull first, and then you would end up with a whistling noise because the eye sockets or whatever, and then you would have these whistling noises of these skulls popping up first, right? Skulls at the top. And I've also read in the article too, which is in the museum, Marsden Museum, that they have found the mummies were buried this way there, the red-headed mummies. Okay, so I imagine this is dirt, right? This is dirt. So this skull and this part of it was in the sun and everything. Okay, it was facing the sun. So the skull was basically looking at the sky. I imagine maybe the skull rolled back and this part of it was buried in the dirt, and the eyes and nose and mouth were exposed, for it was like kind of looking up at the sky if you were to walk. So this is where I could see that the skull was whistling. It was a whistling skull. This is the very one that Don Monroe took a picture of in the 1970s sometime, which has now been buried, disappeared, lost, gone, right? But this to me is evidence of the whistling skulls. This thing's buried in the ground right here. The skull, the back behind it is gray, so that was the part that was in the dirt, and this part, his face was revealed in the sun, first thing that came up, right? So she also says that they had found another, she says that the BLM came, they notified the BLM, a lady came, and she took all the good stuff, and she left all the stuff she didn't want, and then she never heard from her again. So when we are looking at these skulls that Don Monroe took pictures of, are we looking at the red-haired giant skulls? Just alone by the way that the evidence of the skull is showing us how it might have been revealed coming out of the dirt. Was this a red-headed giant skull? Now let's look at more evidence I have for these red-haired giants. Okay, so this is an article which is in the Marsden Museum, which you can't take pictures of anymore. But I have screenshot of this, stopped it so we could read some of this. It's difficult to read, but I'm going to try to read this. There's some very important information in here. We came across the red-headed Indian graveyard. Skeletons were lying on top of the ground, being completely eroded from their grave. They buried them sitting. It says sit. Evidence of them, the red-haired giants, being in a sitting position when they're being buried. Life Among the Paiutes, Sarah Winnemucca, published in 1883. it tells about the war. The tribe would even eat their own dead. Yes, they would even come and dig up our dead after they were buried, and they would carry them off and eat them. According to the Winnemucca, the red-headed tribe at one time numbered about 2,600, but after about 3 years of wars in the early 19th century, the Paiutes, the number was substantially reduced. I have a dress which has been in our family for a great many of years that is trimmed with the reddish hair. So we know about Sarah Winnemucca's dress, right? With the different people, wasn't their people, it was different people that came from a different species of people. It says late 19th century scientific papers of the day referred to them as the Thule eaters. Wars recorded of the dwindling tribe that in desperation resorted to living on Thule rafts in the middle of the Humboldt Sink in the earlier part of the century. They finally came in the shore and hid in the cave. They met their fiery demise after they came to ashore. So they were living on the Humboldt Sink, right? If you watch my channel, you know that I have found these crazy things out in the Humboldt Sink that are from satellite. I'm wondering what they are, and I'm wondering if maybe these were the Thule rafts that the giants were living on, right? Because I don't know what the heck they are. I'll show you right now. Okay, so if you watch my channel, this is the Humboldt Sink. Over here, you're going to have the Lovelock Cave. It's right here. It's nearby in this area over here, right? It's up in this mountainside. Probably that's the northeast. Here's the Humboldt Sink, and I have identified these things. I've been wondering, and I've been wanting to go out here and explore these, but they're about 100 yards long, and maybe 180 yards wide. It's like a football field, right? I mean, it looks like a football field. We have one there, we have one there, and they're all over here. There's one here. I've been wondering about these things, and are these the Thule rafts that they're talking about? Like, were they living on these things? Here's another one. It's wore out, and there's quite a bit. There's one right here. It's almost like a pattern. Same thing, right? Carbon copy. Are these man-made? Are these modern? You know, I don't know. But what if they're raised Thule mounds? Here's one right here. And I'll go ahead and now I'll just show you. Lovelock Cave. Show it. Where's Lovelock Cave? It's right there. Lovelock Cave's right there, okay? Here's Lovelock Cave. Here's the Humboldt Sink. There's Lovelock Cave right there. Humboldt Sink. It's a sink right here. It's a big old, used to be more of a lake. And then I have these anomalous. Here's one right here. This is the first one I plan to go visit right here. I tried to make a few trips out here, but I just got turned around every time. It was just too far for me to go. There's lots. There's like 15 of these things. If I can find some more, there's maybe a trail up here of these. But yeah, they're anomalous. They're anomalous. I don't know what they are, but that's those things. So let's continue with it. Let's continue with this. Several 19th century explorers, including Fremont, reported interviewing Paiute warriors who had been wounded years earlier while fighting the red-headed giants. So Fremont has interviewed the Paiutes, and they were talking about the wounds they had received during the war with the red-headed giants. That's significant. Now, I have some other things here too, okay? Let's talk about the basket weaving, okay? So what this article is saying about the baskets, it's kind of hard for me to read, but it's saying that the basket weaving designs are completely unique in Lovelock Cave. So that suggests that we have a different kind of peoples that were living there, not the Paiute. So we know about the cannibalism, right? Okay, now this little section says, has given validity to much of the Paiute folklore. Human bones have in the cave shown evidence of being split to remove marrow in the areas that are consistent with cannibalism practices. We have evidence of bones being cracked open and the marrow being removed, such as cannibals use today. Okay, a few other notes. There's lore. Well, there's actually testimony of there being a display of a red-haired giant in Virginia City, which is outside of Carson City, Nevada. There was a display there for a number of years, and they had this red-haired mummy in there. It was tall. People know and have seen this. Also, there's lore of the Freemasons having a skull that they have in their own possession. Okay, so in my own research, I have found these huge mortar and pestles. These are found at the Churchill County Museum. They were found in the area of like Carson Sink, you know, the whole region we're talking about in this video. These instruments are huge, right? They're like way bigger than normal size. Here's my hand holding one right there, and there's another picture there. They're very large. And there's my shoe. I wear a size 12 against one of them right there. Like, it's not even the whole picture. Like, so yeah, these things are very large. You wonder, you know, why are these things so huge? Now I wanted to go over everything we have. These people, these red-haired giants, are not local to the area. They're not related to the Paiutes. They're 7-foot redheads. They came from Death Valley. This might explain why there is a different weaving technology at Lovelock Cave that's completely exclusive to that area. They were cannibals, and we have evidence of cannibalism at Lovelock Cave. We have broken bones exposing the marrow. We have Paiute warrior injuries being testified to Fremont. We have Sarah Winnemucca's dress, which was made from the red hair from the giants, the red-haired giants. We have a different burial practice, which is the head towards the top of the ground burial. And we have 3 different burial locations talked about. We have the farm in the Dixie Valley, and then we have the Lovelock Cave itself, and then we have a roadway between southern Utah and Nevada. There supposedly, to this day, might be a burial ground of the red-haired giants that we've been driving right by. And we have this lore of the Lovelock Cave going to Ilmay, completely 30 miles between the 2 locations. And we have the lore of the red-haired giants living on the rafts in the Humboldt Sink. They were living on these tule rafts, and I have possible evidence of the tule rafts, these anomalous things in the Humboldt Sink. So what the main purpose is of this video is to show that they are different people, a completely different race of people. So the question is why are we burying these people, these other bones that haven't been tested yet, putting them in the ground? They're not Paiutes. The Paiutes should not be burying these people with ceremonies. We have to test these things, test the bones scientifically, and maybe they could help us out understanding our own past. And the past holds the key to the future most times. So I appreciate you watching. Thank you. Subscribe to the channel for me. Let's get up over 500 subs. And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.